Hey guys, so I'm out here. I just finished a run. I just did 3 miles. And this is also an off day. I usually do 3, right? Recently I've been doing 3. But before my average was 6, but I kind of took it down a little bit. But usually I do 3 every other day. I ran yesterday. Today was supposed to be my off day, but you know what? You know, when the blood gets to pumping, you got to just go with it. The inspiration hit. You know what it is? I saw Sha'Carri Richardson. Excuse me. I saw a video of her, and it just hit. It was the right time, right place, right time kind of thing. I saw that video. It was a short. I watched it, and it was the fierceness. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to go ahead and get this. I gotta step my game up. And I'm pretty good, I'm pretty solid. But you know what? I can keep going. I mean, my goal isn't where I'm at. So that means there's still more ways to go. So I figured, you know what, let me get up and start moving. You know? And a quote that someone told me a long time ago was, when you're in hell, keep walking. You know? And your hell can be anything. But the point is, you're not at your destination. So don't sit down and camp up, set up camp, set up a tent. Keep it moving. Like, what? You know? And of course, yeah, we know your life's not about your productivity. Your life's not about just doing stuff. We know that, right? We do the work. We meditate. We focus on who we are, on being, on existing, understanding the nature of existence. We are everything. We are having this human experience. And that's wonderful. And at the same time, you have some things the church is itching to do. Not things that you feel like you have to, because society. No. I'm talking about that stuff that you're like, I can't go. The plane starts shaking and you're like, no. Because I still have things to do. Those are the things I'm talking about. And now is the time. Now's the time, y'all.
I was walking through life like an NPC, like an NPC. I was walking through life like an NPC.
I was walking through life like an NPC, idling out like a hoopty, and like the movie, and like I got free.
For myself, I gotta see.
I wanna taste it, touch it,
Cause I've been feeling myself.
Oh, this monkey, Bobby.
Why you feeling yourself?
Got no inhibitions left, I don't live by the tweets. Judgy, not less like judgy.
Cause I've been feeling myself. Why you feeling yourself?
Can't turn me off, cause I got it going on. Can't turn me off, cause I got it going on.
Cause I've been feeling myself.
All right, guys, I just finished my run, and I'm like out here. I'm still sweaty. But I was meditating earlier and, you know, doing my research and journaling and whatever. And pretty much the inspiration came over me. One, and I said this earlier in the post, or I don't know what order I'm going to put this in, but I saw Sha'Carri Richardson run, and man, she is an inspiration. I mean, you watch her, and she's one, so beautiful. She looks like a goddess running. That bone structure, her like, especially when her face goes like, you know, like, she drops the expression and she's just going. And also she runs like she knows she's going to win. The confidence, it's like beyond confidence. It's like knowing and preparation. And it's just like, I'm telling you, if you're feeling down, go watch a video of Sha'Carri running. You will feel inspired. You will be like, I can do anything, because she's so powerful. She's like a goddess. She's like Athena or something. Like, you're just like, is she real? You know what I mean? And man, she got me up and at it. And you know what I wanted to touch on? Sometimes, you know, we might get too used to having people around us who don't believe in us. And it's so subtle, right? The ways that shows up. And it's not even really important that everybody around us believe. It's this that you might have gotten used to it. You know, if you don't have someone around you being your mirror, showing you how, saying, you know, you're wonderful, you're so good at that thing, or you're so whatever. And one thing I found is routines help you stay grounded, rooted. One, you never stop. Like I have my running, my exercise routine, and no matter what is going on in my life, I do that. I keep it moving. But two, you're putting in the work. You never get behind because the days are going to go by no matter what. It's going to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's going to go January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It's going to happen. So in those days, and I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm not saying your life is just about productivity, but those days are going to go by. So you might as well use them. Do your best. I mean, if you need to rest, rest. That's also using the day. But if you have that energy in you, you don't know what to do. You're scrolling through social media, looking at the P word, all these things. Girl, get up, start you a routine. You can start slow. It's just like when a toddler is learning to walk. Start slow and then let it build up because that time's going to go by. And I remember I was living in Mexico at the time. And I had my normal routine, running, doing stretching, Tai Chi. Everybody knew me. I was living on the beach. I was living in Puerto Angel, but, spending most of my time in Zipolite. And if you're from Mexico, you know that those towns are like right next to each other. So it's like, just a walk over or whatever. So everybody knew me because they always see me in the mornings. Running the beach, stretching, doing Tai Chi. People are always like, oh, that's that guy that runs, whatever. People used to come up to me and say things all the time like, I'm so happy you do that so the kids have an example to see. Like, look at, this is what, people would say all sorts of things. This one guy, I remember he came up to me, he was like, I'm so glad you exist. I love seeing you run on the beach. And I was like, oh my God. But the reason I bring this up is because I managed to get myself caught up in like love drama while I was there. Because, you do sometimes. And I remember it was so dramatic and I felt all these emotions and it didn't even last long. It was like maybe like 2 weeks, the actual drama of it. But then when it ended, I remember going back to my normal running spot and all the same people were there doing their running. Sorry, there's a mosquito. Doing their running, you know what I mean? Going at it. And I realized it was me that fell off track. The world's still spinning. The sun's still rising. The birds are still chirping. The chickens are still chicking. Whatever. Everything was still happening. My normal people that go out there running, they're still doing their little pattern. And it was just me that got off track. And that's a reminder for me to stay focused, because there's all this drama, there's all these things happening around you, other people's drama, all these things that want to get your attention. But when you have a definite goal and a routine that you're in, even if something comes up, you're still in your routine. You're still putting in that effort towards your goal. And I'm telling you, there's something so beautiful about that, and I wanted to share that. Also, Shikari. Go watch Shikari. Because, wow, she's inspiring. I spent a lot of time studying philosophies, different understandings of the Bible, all these things, because I have a determination to understand the nature of life, the fabric of life, I remember actually when it hit me one day, I just remember thinking there is a rhyme and a reason to life. It's not just see, do, achieve. There was something else and I could sense it. I was like in my 20s when it really hit me. I think I always felt it to some degree, but that's when it really hit me, partially because I didn't like the way it was going. So I thought, no. And I realized it was me because I saw it working for other people. So I was like, no, there's something I'm not doing with this game. right. There's some way I'm not interacting with life right. So I began this journey of like reading everything that from Robert Greene's Mastery to The Upward Spiral, which is like a book on neuroscience, to Alan Watts, to Napoleon Hill, to, The Alchemist, to The Four Agreements, to, I mean, it was like Conversations with God, um, all these books, anything I could find. Abraham Hicks, I don't know if you all have heard of Abraham Hicks. I mean, everything. I just dove straight in. And, at the root of a lot of it seems to be identity. I mean, the foundation, if you search the laws of the universe, right, there are laws of the universe. I don't remember the number, but what's implied is that you are a projector, and life is a blank canvas that you're projecting onto. So everything you're experiencing is how your mind is aligned. Everything is just how your mind is aligned. And as your mind changes, what you see, how you feel changes. But it's all coming from you. And so we spend all this time, trying to fix a reflection. Like we're going around being like, if I just do this in the physical world, it'll change. But the change has to come from here first. And you can effort and do things, that is true. But at the crux of it, this is why it takes more like investigation, because you can always find a way to be like, well, that's not true. But when you get to the bottom of it, it is all about something that changes within you, a spirit, a decision, an identity, even like losing weight. You decide, no, I am this. That is an internal decision. You go, no, I'm even, that's what there's a lot of controversy too around, like, for example, Alcoholics Anonymous, because it encourages you to say you're an alcoholic, whereas the spiritual path would be to be something else. To not say you are this. It would be to be something else, to be your ideal, whatever the thing is you want to be, to identify with that. Anyway, the point is, it seems to all boil down to identity at the crux of it. And seeing what that is, visualizing it. And I've met people who say they can't visualize. Another book, there's this book called Joe Silva's Mind Control Technique. And when you think of mind control, you often think of, one often thinks of controlling someone else's mind. But Joe Silva's mind control technique is about controlling your mind. It is about collaborating with your mind. And I'm going to summarize it, but I mean, the book is, it is worth a read. And there's actually evidence backing up. And it just goes hand in hand with neuroscience, honestly. When you get to the root of these things, like when I studied neuroscience and I saw the similarities between neuroscience and all these other things, it became clear, like we're narrative-based machines. Your brain, you get a narrative and your brain aligns with that and it makes decisions with that. So if you say, I'm a person who does this, I'm a person who's in shape, I'm a person who, your body is going to align that way. It's going to make it easier for you to do workouts. Like your body will numb pain. It will blind out distractions. It will, literally, this is proven in science, it will do all these things. If you say you have a goal, or you say this is who I am, it will make it as easy as possible, right? Your ego doesn't want you to suffer. Your body doesn't want you to suffer. When you decide that something's what you're gonna do, it goes, okay, we're gonna make it happen. It's like, you've ever heard, this is like a hyperbolic version of this, but you've heard those stories of women who, something happened, their child's in a car rolling down a hill, and they suddenly have all this strength, stop the car or lift a car or all these things. And it's really about a decision. They decided, no. And I'm sure you've had moments like that too. You go around life kind of pretending. You're kind of lulled into this idea of what life is. Like, oh, this is hard. Oh, this is easy. Oh, this is how it works. And you go around playing this game like, ow, oh, whatever I'm feeling, whatever the things are. There's a million different things. And you're playing this game, forgetting that no. And sometimes things help you snap out of it. It's something that's happening that you really are like, it snaps you out because you're like, absolutely not. And it's a sudden shift, certain shift. And that's reflected outward. When you can make a shift emotionally, when there's an emotion attached to a shift, a strong emotion, it's easier to happen immediately. Other changes have to happen through repetition or hypnosis. But when you have a strong emotional, like, it's easier for your subconscious to latch on to that information. It's like your subconscious mind, right, is like the feminine aspect of your mind. She makes everything real. She is like literally the fabric of existence, and she is like Mystique. You know Mystique on X-Men? She transforms into whatever you've agreed upon. But it's a solid agreement. These are the solid, firm agreements that you've made. You know, and your conscious mind does the like more temporary agreements, you know, and it's supposed to be the guardian of your subconscious mind. It's supposed to say, what am I letting into my subconscious mind? You're like, you know, you've ever heard someone try and tell you something about yourself and you're like, nope. Nope. Right? That's your conscious mind being like, no, subconscious, don't take that on. We're not doing that. Right? That's what your conscious mind, that's the role of your conscious mind. But if you impress something like trauma, for example, is an example of something happening and then you having a strong reaction and then your subconscious says, oh, this is real, you want this. Got it. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, because judgment is not how it works. There's no judgment. It just is what it is. Whatever the thing is, that's what it is. It's like, you know how they do the genie thing, and it's like, careful how you word the thing. You gotta say exactly how you mean it, kind of thing. Anyway, but just like trauma hits your subconscious, immediately comes to your subconscious, makes the change. So does a strong determination in the other direction, combined with emotion. And that's the thing about like social media or computers, or, you know, looking at screens puts you in like a beta state of your mind. Also, even looking up, you know, when there's a screen that's up, when you look up, you're lulled more into accepting what you're seeing. It's a neuroscience, or is it neuroscience? It's scientific. It's a scientific thing, fact. But the point is, you want to come up with a vision for yourself and get it to your subconscious mind. Whatever that vision is, you got to get it to the subconscious. And there's a few ways you can do it. You can do repetition. I am this, feeling it. The real thing is feeling. You can say things all day. You can write them and they do eventually help. They can eventually, over time, get you to believe it. But it's really about feeling it like it's real now, not later. It doesn't matter if everything you're seeing doesn't match up. It's about believing it right now. This is my reality. I don't care what and feel it. What does it feel like? You know, I read this book. What is it? An Actor Prepares by, oh my gosh, Stanislavski. Thank you. And this was when it really shook me, because I had been doing all this research on philosophies and this and that and that and this. And I read this book by Stanislavski, who's a famous, you know, theater guru in many different ways. Guru, I'm just using that word, professional. And the book is supposed to, you know, be a guide to acting. But the thing was, it was just a guide to manifestation. And that's when I realized, I thought about it, like theater is the art. That's what theater stands for, the art. And I realized theater was just the art of living. And this book was, it's like a metaphysical practice. You want to be a certain way, come up with the character, just like it's a play. Who is the person? What's their motivation? What do they feel about this? What's their relationship to this? And you believe it. This is literally what the book says. Figure out all the things about the character and believe it like it's true. And everything else will play out automatically. That's literally what the book is saying. It's like, it says there's this magical force. Once you believe the thing, then when something happens corresponding to what you believe, you'll act, you know, what's the word? Correspondingly. You will act correspondingly to that belief combined with occurrence. So for example, if you know, if you, I'm just going to use this as an example. There's a million of them, but right, let's say there's someone in your life that you've been with and you love them dearly and you think, oh my gosh, this is the perfect person for me. And I know that they, we've talked about it. I know they say they feel the same way, but I wonder if they really, is this the thing that's for me? I don't know, but I really have never felt this way about anybody before. And then suddenly, out of the blue, you have no idea this is coming. They propose to you. You're going to naturally, this is against your will, you're going to have an emotional reaction because it's what you wanted and you were unsure, you didn't see it coming, and then this is confirmation. You're going to cry. You're going to be shocked. Your body is just, it's going to do it automatically. You don't have to make it happen. It's because that's how you're aligning. You're saying, I love this person and this is what I want and this is my dream, and then it comes. Right? You don't have to fake that. And what acting with this book, An Actor Prepares, is saying, just believe it. Just you come up with all the circumstances, believe it. And then the rest is just going to play out. And it's the same thing with life. You're acting right now. Your whole life is an act. Your personality is just a series of agreements. And it's so, depending on where you are, depends on how easy it is to accept this. Some people understand this already. Other people, it's like, you're telling me what? Like I'm not a person. It's like, no, I mean, your personality, it's not real. It's just a dream that you're living right now. You don't have to be that person. You're just choosing to keep being that person. And all these things reinforce it. And your family says, oh, that's not how you are, or or some, whatever the thing is. And there are aspects of you that are maybe like connected to your soul, perhaps. But like your general personality, it's just a bunch of agreements. You can come up with what your agreements are. You can say, I'm like that. You can literally get a piece of paper, write down who you are, write down all the traits that you have, the way you see the world, the way you engage with the world, the way people see you. And if you can get that in your head, if you can get it in there and firmly believe it, it will happen. This force being your subconscious mind, the mystique of your existence, mystique being like, imagine that mystique was everything that your eyes are seeing. Not a person, but when you open your eyes, you're seeing this thing that's all one material that's just morphing to show you different things. But it's one material. You've heard like the idea of like everything is energy. It's that idea. And this is just vibrating this way to show you that it's a hand and this is a glove and but it's all one material. And I'm just going to call it Mystique because we all know X-Men and Mystique. You're convincing Mystique. You're saying, girl, this is how it goes. And I'm standing firm. Just as solidly as you believe in gravity, you believe this is who I am. And man, your world will change. And trust me, I know I've seen it. I've experienced it myself. But the point is, this is where we're at, people. It's time to identify. I'm recording this video on the solstice on December 21st. The gates open. It is time to decide who you are. Align with that. Accept it as true. Feel it without a doubt. It doesn't matter what you're seeing, because you're seeing just a reverberation of past belief. And maybe it takes some time for it to catch up with you, like your ideal. It might take some time for it to get where you want to be. It might not take that much time, but the point is, don't be dismayed. Someone might come up to you still like with some reaction from the past, some way of talking to you like the past. Your bank account might still mirror the past, but no. Think about Beyonce. I still remember this. There was this friend of mine who saw Beyonce's Super Bowl performance, the first one, in 2013. And he's not really a Beyonce fan necessarily. He's a straight man from the UK, whatever. And he was like, you know what? She's the most confident person I've ever seen in my life. And people can say whatever they want to about Beyonce. But the truth is, she came up with a vision. Even like, the Sasha Fierce thing, her album is titled, I Am Sasha Fierce. And we all know that I am is like the name of God. Because there's this idea that God, as much as people like to talk about it like a person or whatever, it's just consciousness. It's just the awareness. There is a consciousness. There's this intelligence that is just alive everywhere. It's aware. And it's dreaming you pretty much. And within this dream, you have free will and you can communicate with this power, right? You know, praying in different studies, you know, some people, some religions have praying of being like, please, please, may I, you know, da 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 da. In other belief systems, praying is just assuming. Praying is going, I am this. I am. And what Beyonce was doing when she said, I am Sasha Fierce, she was being like, you know what? Let's step it up and up. I am. That vision. She had this character in her head that was fierce, that did this, that did that. And she said, I am Sasha Fierce. That was a biblical, religious, spiritual declaration. And we all saw it was true. She did it. The point is, you can do it too. So, time is an illusion, but it's still ticking. So let's go. Because we all need to see your ideal, the real you. So get a piece of paper, write down my ideal. Because it's about your ideal. It's not about what everybody else wants, about what you see, your vision. So come up with your vision and make it real. I'm going to do the same thing. I am doing the same thing. I am my ideal.